Today, we're counting down 12 Roman weapons so clever they changed warfare forever. Stay with us until the very end, because the number one weapon isn't what you'd expect. And yet it's the reason Rome's empire lasted for centuries. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss our deep dives into history's most fascinating moments. Number 12. The pilum, Roman throwing spear. Unlike ordinary spears, the pilum was designed with a long, thin iron shank that would bend on impact. When Roman soldiers hurled their pila at the enemy, two things happened. The heavy spear could pierce through shields and armor, making them useless. Once it struck, the tip bent, meaning the enemy couldn't throw it back. Even better, the bent spear often stuck into shields, making them so heavy and awkward that enemy soldiers had to drop them entirely. This simple yet clever design gave the Romans a huge advantage in battle. Before the enemy could even reach them, their defenses were already weakened. The pilum wasn't just a weapon, it was a strategy that broke enemy lines before swords were even drawn. Number 11. The Gladius, Roman short sword. The Gladius was the signature weapon of the Roman legionary. Short, deadly, and perfectly designed for disciplined, close combat. Unlike long swords used by many other cultures, the Gladius was only about 2 feet long, making it lightweight and easy to handle. What made it so clever was the Roman fighting style. Soldiers didn't swing wildly like in the movies. Instead, they fought in tight formations, using their shields for defense, and the Gladius for short stabbing thrusts. These thrusts were far more lethal than slashes, piercing directly into vital organs. The compact size of the Gladius also meant soldiers could fight shoulder to shoulder in the Roman phalanx without hitting each other. Combined with their discipline, the Gladius helped Rome dominate battlefields for centuries. Number 10. The plumbata, Roman throwing dart. The plumbata was a small but ingenious weapon, a throwing dart with a heavy lead weight attached near the tip. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than an oversized dart or arrow, but in the hands of Roman soldiers, it became a deadly surprise. These darts could be thrown by hand or launched from short distances, giving Roman infantry a hidden advantage. Because of the lead weight, the plumbata flew with greater force and accuracy, piercing armor and shields far more effectively than ordinary javelins. Roman soldiers often carried several plumbati clipped to the inside of their shields, ready to unleash them at the start of battle. This sudden rain of darts disrupted enemy formations, injured frontline fighters, and weakened morale before the main clash even began. It wasn't the most famous Roman weapon, but it was one of the cleverest, combining portability, surprise, and deadly efficiency. Number 9. Ballista, Rome's deadly crossbow on steroids. The Romans weren't just masters of infantry tactics, they also revolutionized siege warfare. The ballista was essentially a gigantic crossbow, powered by twisted ropes of sinew or hair, capable of hurling massive bolts or stone projectiles with incredible force. Unlike catapults that lobbed rocks in an arc, the ballista fired straight and fast, making it perfect for piercing walls, tearing through enemy ranks, or even taking out individual targets at long distances. Its accuracy shocked Rome's enemies, and the psychological impact was just as devastating as the physical destruction it caused. Imagine facing a weapon that could kill you before you even saw it coming. The ballista proved that Roman warfare was not only about discipline and bravery, it was also about terrifying innovation. Number 8. Onager, Rome's wild donkey of destruction. The onager earned its name from the Latin word for wild donkey because of the violent kick it produced when fired. This siege engine was a type of catapult designed to hurl heavy stones over city walls or into enemy formations. Unlike the precise ballista, the onager relied on raw smashing power. When its twisted ropes released, the arm would whip forward with a thunderous crash, launching boulders that could shatter gates, demolish fortifications, and send enemies scattering in panic. The noise alone was terrifying, echoing across the battlefield like thunder. The Romans used the onager to soften defenses before an infantry assault, proving that brute force was just as vital as precision. In many ways, it was ancient Rome's version of heavy artillery. Number 7. Corvus, the boarding bridge that won Rome a navy. Rome was not naturally a seafaring power, but during the Punic Wars they invented the corvus, a boarding device that changed naval combat forever. Picture a giant wooden bridge with a sharp spike at the end. When Roman ships drew close to enemy vessels, the corvus would drop down, the spike biting into the opposing deck. Suddenly, sea battles were no longer about ramming or maneuvering. It became hand-to-hand combat, Rome's specialty. This innovation neutralized Carthage's superior naval skills and allowed Roman soldiers to fight as if they were still on land. The corvus wasn't just a weapon, it was a tactical shift that turned the tides of war, showing how ingenuity could transform weakness into dominance. Number 6. Lorica segmentata, the armor of Roman supremacy. The lorica segmentata was Rome's signature armor, made of overlapping metal strips fastened with leather straps. Unlike chainmail, it provided superior protection while remaining flexible enough for mobility. Soldiers could march, fight, and maneuver without being weighed down. Its design was so effective that enemies often tried to replicate it, but failed to match Roman craftsmanship. Beyond protection, it also gave the legions a uniform, intimidating appearance, an army of gleaming steel that looked unstoppable. The armor symbolized Rome's discipline and engineering brilliance. It wasn't invincible, but against swords, arrows, and even spears, it gave Roman soldiers a massive edge. In many ways, Lorica segmentata was just as important as the weapons it defended against, turning Roman legions into near unstoppable war machines. Number 5. Roman Scorpion, the deadly precision shooter. The Scorpio, or Roman Scorpion, was a smaller, more portable version of the Ballista. Think of it as the Roman equivalent of a sniper rifle. It could shoot iron-tipped bolts at incredible speed and accuracy, capable of piercing armor and shields with ease. Unlike the massive Ballista, which required a team to operate, a Scorpio could be manned by just 1 or 2 soldiers, making it perfect for both battlefield and defensive use. They were often positioned on fortress walls or hidden in field formations, catching enemies off guard with lethal precision. In sieges, dozens of Scorpions firing together created a deadly rain of bolts that broke enemy morale. The weapon highlighted Rome's genius for blending engineering with battlefield strategy. Number 4. Roman cavalry spear, contus, the spear of shock and awe. While Rome is often remembered for its disciplined infantry, its cavalry also played a crucial role in expansion. The contus was a long cavalry spear, often reaching up to 4 meters in length, designed for devastating charges. Unlike infantry spears, which were shorter and easier to maneuver, the contus was held with both hands, allowing cavalrymen to deliver powerful, armor-piercing thrusts. When deployed in formation, a cavalry charge with lowered conti was a terrifying sight, capable of smashing enemy lines and scattering troops. It wasn't just about the spear itself, but the psychological shock it carried, an unstoppable wall of horsemen thundering forward. The contus gave Roman cavalry the punch they needed to complement the legions, ensuring no enemy could rest easy. Number 3. Testudo formation, the living weapon of Rome. Sometimes the most effective weapon wasn't forged in iron, but in discipline. The testudo, or tortoise formation, was a Roman battlefield tactic where soldiers interlocked their shields above and around them, forming an armored shell. Arrows, rocks, and even fire missiles rained down harmlessly on this moving fortress. In sieges, testudo formations allowed legions to approach walls under heavy fire, giving them the protection needed to deploy battering rams, ladders, or siege towers. It wasn't flashy like a sword or siege engine, but it demonstrated the true strength of the Roman army, unity and coordination. To enemies, it must have seemed like an invincible machine, steadily advancing no matter what was thrown at it. The testudo made Roman legions both feared and admired. Number 2. Roman siege towers, moving fortresses of doom. When Rome laid siege to enemy cities, they brought with them one of the most intimidating machines of the ancient world, the siege tower. These massive wheeled structures were essentially mobile fortresses, often several stories high, covered in protective hides or wet materials to resist fire. Inside, soldiers climbed ladders to reach the top, where they could storm directly onto enemy walls. Siege towers also carried archers and artillery, raining destruction from above as they advanced. Combined with battering rams and catapults, they made city defenses nearly obsolete. The psychological terror of watching a towering war machine slowly rolling toward your walls was often enough to crush morale before the first clash. Siege towers proved that Roman warfare was about strategy as much as brute force. Number 1. Roman roads, the silent weapon of empire. It might not look like a weapon, but the Roman road system was the most powerful tool of conquest Rome ever created. Stretching over 250,000 miles, these roads allowed legions to march faster than any enemy, moving supplies, reinforcements, and siege equipment with unmatched speed. A Roman army could appear hundreds of miles away in just days, striking before opponents had time to prepare. Roads also enabled communication across vast distances, ensuring commanders could coordinate campaigns with precision. Even after battles were won, the roads held conquered territories together, spreading Roman influence, trade, and culture. In truth, the legion's swords and spears would have been useless without the logistical backbone of the roads. This silent weapon is why Rome didn't just fight wars, it built an empire that lasted centuries. And there you have it, the 12 Roman weapons that forever changed the face of war. Some were brutal, others brilliantly engineered, but together they gave Rome the power to dominate for centuries. Which weapon surprised you the most? Was it the fearsome siege engines, the ingenious testudo formation, or the unexpected number 1, Rome's legendary roads? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories from history's greatest empires. Thanks for watching, and remember, Rome may have fallen, but its weapons and its legacy still echo through time.